do great coaches do? Determine destination. As the saying goes, you know what the saying, right? The saying is, you know the saying about destination? If you don't have a destination, any road can take you there. So let me ask you a question. When the conference here ends tomorrow night, do you know where you're going? Please raise your hand. If you don't, we may get some assistance. You all know where you're going, right? What if on your way to where you're going, something happened? If you're driving, you had a flat tire, maybe there was construction. If you're flying, the flight is delayed. Maybe you missed your flight. You still know where you're going, right? You think you can figure out a way still to get home? Yes? No? Yeah, right? So in coaching, when we're coaching change, the destination has to be clear. What is it we're trying to achieve? Because I often, if I have a client come in and they tell me they don't know where they're going, well, we can treat that. But most of them know where they're going physically. Sometimes they don't know where they're going in life, and sometimes they don't know where they're going organizationally. So that's very important. We need to listen globally. Listening globally is not just with the 5 senses, but also with the 6th sense, your intuition. As a coach, there's some things you pick up, some micro gestures you pick up that tells you something about what the person is doing or not doing, or saying or not saying, and you're looking at body language to see if it corresponds, right, to the message that they're leaving with you. Powerful questions is the essence of coaching. Okay? If you're going to have a conversation with a friend, it's not guaranteed that you're going to have a powerful question. So powerful question creates insight, okay? Gets you thinking. I was coaching a district manager in pharmaceuticals about a couple of months ago. Came to my office and we did some coaching there. And he went on and on for about 10 minutes, telling me all the challenges he had, at least 3 challenges he had in his life, and how he overcame these challenges. So I could have just remained empathetic and, that must have been difficult, But the powerful question was, Alan, what have you learned from this about yourself, and how are you going to apply this today and going forward? So then he looks at me and said, I need to think about that now. Okay? So he had this narrative for 10 minutes. You've got to bring it back. How can we use that? That's powerful questioning. Stretch. We all have belief systems. One belief system I had until recently was that I needed a good night's sleep before giving a talk. I've had that for years, even as a vice president. I have to sleep. If I don't sleep, I won't be good. Beginning January, I was asked to facilitate a workshop in Orlando with pharmaceutical folks. Get to the plane, miss my connecting flight in Toronto. It's now 9:30 p.m. There are no flights from Toronto to Orlando. I've got to go back to Montreal. I get to Montreal, it's now midnight. There's no sense going back home because I need to be at customs at 3:30 in the morning. So I slept, quote unquote, at the airport, which you can't really sleep. They're very uncomfortable seat, big neon lights. Montreal is the worst airport you want to sleep in. It's not a place to sleep. So I didn't sleep. Got to customs, 6:30 a.m. flight, right? That all started the day before, 24 hours before, 12 hours before. Get to Orlando at 11. The workshop is at 1. Time to shower, shaved. I had like 50, 60 people. It went fantastic. And I left and I said, and they said, wow, this is one of the best we had, blah, blah, blah. I left and I said, what a great lesson in limiting beliefs. So we need to stretch. Great coaches stretch. Understand the big and small picture. When you're coaching one-on-one, you're looking at the life scope and all that. But when we're coaching in organizations, you need to understand, and we're going to get into that, the bigger picture, the culture, and all kind of other stuff. So the next one is being authentic, and I heard that earlier on. Okay? Being authentic is walking the talk. When I'm teaching or coaching staff in a store, with a manager who's a little bit of a bully, right, to be assertive, and that manager begins to bully me, I have to walk the talk. I have to show assertiveness, right? So you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. So integrity and authenticity is really, really key. Recognize the fear factor. We're going to talk about that. Change. There's a lot of fear factor around that. That's my phone, but I will not answer. I thought I put it off. Here we go. Unearth the passions. Passion is the fuel for action, right? Passion is the fuel for action. So I have a young lady who comes for a coaching session. She's not happy in her career, right? So I asked her, she's like a web editor for a major newspaper in Montreal. And she's not happy in her career, so I asked her, what would turn you on? What kind of career would you like? What kind of a job would you be? Hani, I don't know. I don't know. Have you given it some thought? Yeah, but I don't know. You know, I'm just kind of stuck. I don't know. I said, okay, listen. If you had $1 million in the bank, what would you do? What? What would you do? Oh, I'd be an event planner. I love event. I love people. I love logistics. I love planning stuff. And she starts, smiling. Well, what are you waiting for? Unearth the passion. Unearth the passion to get people moving forward. Encourage one-stepping. When we did Mount Kilimanjaro in 2009, I was 51 years old. It was something crazy I wanted to do, and I wanted to do a film about it. Mount Kilimanjaro is 5,895 meters high. It takes 6 days to go and only 1 day to come down. It's really cool, really, really cool. And actually coming down is not easy because you've got to use a lot of your knees and putting the brakes on all the time. But how do you do Kilimanjaro? 1 step at a time. 1 camp at a time. 1 day at a time. That's it. I did marathons. How do you do a marathon? 1 step at a time. 1 kilometer or mile at a time. Right? Change is the same thing. Change is the same thing. It's important to create the space. Coaching creates that timeout. I've been in business as an executive, and it's meetings, and it's plan, and it's presenting to the board, and this, and hiring, and it's mind-boggling, right? When the coach comes in the organization, we create the space, whether it's 45 minutes or an hour, right, to work on something that is worthwhile for the coachee. So that's important. Foster the possible. You know what? When they ask me, why does therapy works when it works? And my answer is always the same. Because we create hope. Because we create hope. What is depression? It's feeling hopeless. Okay? Depression is feeling hopeless. Anything I do doesn't really matter, so I stay in bed. So in coaching, we create hope of the possible, that things could change, that yes, you could change. Yes, you could change. That's very powerful. And assigning accountability is really key. I see a lot when I do coaching in organizations. You coach, you leave, you come back. Accountability was not there. People don't do what they say they were going to do, and it doesn't move. So if coaching is such a great thing, so one thing I wanted to say, so these are all nice, right? But really, who we are is why we win. It's not what we do, So when I was vice president of marketing, I had people with MBAs reporting to me. At the time, I had a bachelor in psychology. It's not what we have. It's not the paper. I hear, certification is important. Okay, so I got certified. But you know what? I did coaching even before getting certified. The certification gave me the tools. Sometimes I use, sometimes I don't. We win because of who we are. Somebody said connection. It's the connection, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, the alliance, that overrides and trumps any tools you may have in your toolbox.